Good afternoon and good evening. I am Margaret Hernandez, and this is kind of a special day because this is our second Flex Your Influence Spotlight. And that happens because when I invite these amazing people to join me on this show, it's a free for all when they choose to book. So it's a Tuesday and a Thursday. And so I was just so excited that I got to meet with Candace earlier today and now LaVonne. Hi, LaVonne.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here with me. So, uh,
I love it. Thank you for the invite.
yes, of course. And in a minute, I want you to tell us like a little bit about your business, when you started, where you're located, and all of that. But first, I want to give a little bit of background because LaVonne knows how special she is to me, and I say that because she's known me from the very beginning when I started my business. We are from the same area in Southern California, the Inland Empire, which is also very near and dear to me. And it's just been so exciting just to, get to know each other over the years. And, both of us always, we're not always in contact. We could go a year without talking, LaVonne. Not anymore. I feel like now we're
Not
like,
anymore. Yeah,
yeah,
no.
now we're like pretty connected. But you remember when we like really got to know each other in Miami? That was
Yeah.
my first
I'm not.
novel conference. Yeah. We had such
I'm
a great
going
time.
there with you.
That was so much fun. That was my first conference. Was that your first conference or did you go to the one before that?
I had gone to at least one or two before that. I was trying to figure out what order it is, but I know I
Yeah.
my first one was when they did host it in San Diego, but Miami was
Oh,
yeah, I think my second or third.
was then you probably went to Louisville then too.
Yeah, I
Yes,
did. I
because
did.
those were
Yeah.
the two before I joined.
Oh,
So,
then yeah. So I
yeah,
done San Diego, then Louisville, and then Miami.
yeah. It's so funny when I tell people about my first WBC. So, again, this is going to be a shocker to you, but LaVonne and I met through, well, actually, I would say LaVonne and I met through the Inland Empire Women's Business Center before
Yeah,
we
yeah.
met through NABO, because NABO was not my first step as a business owner. It was the IEWBC. And just a plug for the IEWBC, they are an SBA entity. They are funded by through different um, SBA things.
Grants, yeah.
Grant-
It's amazing resource. Amazing.
Amazing resource. And they are located in all different cities around the country. So look up the Women's Business Center if you want any support with that. Please reach out to LaVonne or I because we both have benefited greatly from the IEWBC, Michelle Skilgen, Nicole Kinney. I mean, it just was phenomenal for my business. And they introduced me to NABO. Um, but when people ask about the annual conference, I say I didn't know anyone. Like I joined and then I went to this conference in Miami, like not knowing. But really, I
All the way across
came
country.
all the way across country, but I had met you before. And so you were someone that I had met before but we got to know each other so much better. So
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
already been like almost 10 years ago.
But that's what happens at the conference, though. It's like you
Yeah.
really make like major connections at the conference. Like
Yeah.
any of the novel major events, you always make really, really
Yeah.
good connections. It's, that's what I said. It's the sorority for grown women. You
Yeah,
go and then
you always
they
say that. The sorority for grown women. Exactly. The support is just crazy. And it's so nice. Like I didn't know you were coming to Advocacy Day. And so when I saw you, like my face lit up and saw you and it's like, oh my gosh, like you never know who's going to be able to make it to that national event. That
right.
was ABC. And so but it calls us whether you're in
Mhm.
leadership now. So you know what? We don't need to have our full on conversation in front of everyone here, but it is important to know, where these relationships are stemming back from for me anyway. And because you also have to ask yourself, am I spending my time in the right places? I
Right,
think I am.
right.
So I think I am. But okay, so tell us a little bit about your business, where you're located, all of that fun stuff.
Okay, so LaVonne Shields, the accounting strategist. What do? I work with micro business owners and I take the fear out of the numbers and empower them to use them as a strategy to build, lead, and grow their business. So I'm like the CFO for the average Josephina. So the average small business owner who wants to know their numbers but is not prepared to pay the $5,000 a month or even the $2,500 a month for a CFO, but wants to have a strategy, wants to have the accountability. That's what I do. So I'm physically located in Southern California. However, I go where the numbers are. So, if you happen to be at the beach, I got to go to the beach. That's what I got to do. This
So
is where I got to go.
knowing that I'm in Southern California, but also in New York City, if I had a client who needed something like this, would you be someone that I could refer them to?
Oh yeah, I've gone during COVID allowed me to go international. So I actually had a
Okay,
client that I worked with in British Columbia. I was like, oh look at
I
me,
love
I'm
that.
international.
I absolutely love that. And we were just talking about, COVID and how StreamYard has been like, it's like a place where we just go live and have these conversations, but it's also
Hmm.
a tool that I use for clients to help them do online events that, they just want to stream out into the public or to a private YouTube. Like COVID really did open some crazy doors for
A
people.
lot of doors,
Yeah, I love
and a
that. I
couple
love your
windows too,
positive.
and a couple windows.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like an entrepreneur to see this, global pandemic and then be able to say, okay, how can we use this for the greater good, in a
Right,
respectful
because the
way.
show must go on. I mean, the
The show
show must go on, and so you got to
Yeah.
figure out how to make that work.
Okay, so that actually takes me to my next question for you. Well, one
Hmm.
of my next questions, but I'm going to switch the order of which I was going to ask you a question because I want to know what you love most about being a business owner.
Oh my goodness. Ultimately, I love the freedom that I get to give to myself, and I work when I want to, with whom I want to, in the way that I want to. It's
Mm,
freeing. It gives me the chance to work with a lot of different people. But one of the really big things is that besides the fact that I love it, like I really do love what I do. I love what I
mm.
do. It's the greatest ever. The people I get to work with is so amazing. Like I laugh whenever I'm having a coaching session with a client. Like, I don't know how many people get get a kick out of working with their clients like I do. Like they make me laugh, and then they inspire me. So I love the fact that I get to work with so many different dynamic people and still take them down the same pathway where they're no longer afraid, they're empowered, they're really digging into their business, and I get to be a part of that journey. Like that is just so freaking awesome to be able to do that. Like who wouldn't? But the freedom is definitely up
Yeah.
there in the top.
Well, I love that, and something that I tell new clients and potential clients, and remind current clients is that something that I bring to the table, which I think that you can absolutely also wear this badge. I bring a lot of enthusiasm and fun to whatever we're doing. Like I'm just
Yeah.
gonna own it. I don't think it's tooting my own horn or bragging. It's just the truth.
Well, it's
I,
a requirement. Like I gotta have fun. If I start announcing that the fun is gone, that means that we're probably getting ready to close out our relationship in some
that's
way, shape, or form.
right,
I
right.
gotta have fun. I love what I do too much for it to not be fun. Like that's just
Exactly.
a requirement.
Exactly. And you working with numbers, me working with marketing, to me, marketing's the most fun part of business. But to a lot of people, that's not the case.
It's the scariest thing.
So that's why it's like, and to me, numbers have been, very scary to like know what my operational budget is, and then something, a shiny thing comes and it's like, well, do I have money for that? It's like, well, how do we make room? And, it's just, that's not my playing field. So I love that. We do bring the enthusiasm. We do bring a lot of fun. And I think that really helps, um, with like successful projects. So, I love that. Well, my next question to you is going to be what excites you most about what you do. You kind of touched on that, but if there's something you want to elaborate, like when you're working with a micro, I love and notice that LaVonne said micro business because there's a difference between a micro and a small business. We won't get into
Mhm.
that now, but LaVonne, if you want to say why you work with micro businesses.
Yeah, so the biggest, to start with the beginning part of that question,
Yeah.
one of the biggest things that I love, really, really love about what I do, what gives me my joy is when a business owner makes that transition from I know how to generate income to I know how to run an organization. Whether they're a solopreneur or they have a couple people on their staff or on their team, that light bulb aha moment where they are like really digging in, and I see the results of what happens. They go from one location to multiple locations, or they go from finally getting to their six-figure marker, and now we're looking at being almost to seven figures.
Mhm.
That to me is just so exciting. And then to be a part of that journey with them, the ups, the downs, the oh my god moments, to the oh my god moments,
Yeah.
all of that. It's to me, that's what makes it all worthwhile. It's like when you see kids grow up, you see them, you start
You
you
see them
watch them, you
learning.
like, you see
Yeah.
the learning and you see the excitement, and then you let to know that they, especially when they trust you to say, oh my god, what the hell, what's going on with life, or when they are really excited about something that's going on in their life, you're excited to be a part of that moment. That's the same way it is for me working with my clients. And the reason why I specifically love working with their micro business owners is because it's so much emphasis or attention or resources go to the larger side of the small business category, that
Yeah.
there's these business owners who they have the drive, they have the desire. They're not looking to be multi seven figure businesses, but that doesn't
Right.
mean they don't should not have access to the same support. They should
Right.
not get the same information, the knowledge,
Mhm.
and they want to thrive in their space. I
Right.
mean, they want to thrive in their space, and I want to be a part of that
Yeah.
opportunity to help them thrive in their space.
Yep. And everyone knows you need to know your numbers even at the most basic level in order to grow them.
Well,
And so,
and even in that aspect of it, it's just that, like as I said before, you make that transition from being someone who knows how to generate income to someone who knows how to run an enterprise.
yeah.
Accounting is the language of that transition. Is when you're able to speak
Mhm.
about your business and numbers, you can have way more conversations, which means you can get way more support and resources because you understand the jargon.
Yep.
It once you get it, and then like I said, that when that aha moment comes in and you see your business in that level, you're playing the game at a different level.
Yep.
And that's but you're still in your space. You're just not in that multi seven figure space, but that doesn't mean you don't want to play at the same level of intensity and passion, and have access to the kind of resources to be in that space.
Yeah.
That's what I love. I love helping business owners who, like, I know my lane, I know the size that I am. That doesn't mean that I should be capped on what resources I have access to. And I wanted to be one of those resources that they had access to.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And you're a safe space.
Safe space, safe
So
space.
you
I went through a lot of training to make sure that I can also maintain being a safe space.
yeah, because that is, talking about income and numbers is one of the most personal things any of us can discuss with another human being. And so being
Hmm.
able to come to you with those, with that is pretty amazing. And you also do some coaching at the IEWBC as well.
Yes, yes. So it's even another way of people who to help people who just don't have the access to the resources of
Sure.
money or time to be able to work with someone, a professional. So that's one of the things I love about being a part of the Women's Business Center, is that we can help people from wherever they are, so that they can get over whatever learning curve they got to get over. So I love doing the coaching and counseling aspect of it, which is what helped me realize that my business was more than just doing the accounting aspect of it. It
Yes.
was the coaching it had to be a part of it. I couldn't do just
Just
service providing. I couldn't do just
yeah,
consulting. I needed to do the coaching aspect of it. And luckily, through my personal development journey of learning behavioral styles about myself and all these other things, I was equipped with tools that allowed me to really be able to help business owners really where they are. The negative emotions, the fear, the not knowing what to do, and being able to instill in them and empower in them, like, you got this, you got
yeah.
this, and you
It's
got
not as
support
hard, it's
with
not
it.
as scary as you think.
Right.
I
It's
love that.
not. It's
And
just, at that micro stage is many business owners, they feel alone because they don't know where their tribe is.
Yeah.
And so when you're able to help them say, hey, you have the Women's Business Center, you have NABO, you have all these other
Yeah.
opportunities to find people who are just like you, who are going
Yeah.
through what you're going through.
And a lot of micro business owners and small business owners start their business because of the expertise or the love of a trade and service, not because of
Hmm.
a MBA in business. And then
Right.
they started
Right.
business. So a lot of us don't know what we don't know. So,
Hmm.
being able to, and the reason I brought up the IEWBC is because you're a trusted resource. And I know that I've gone to the IEWBC. I went there my first day as a business owner when I knew nothing. I didn't even know what evergreen meant. I use that term because it's so, I didn't know what grassroots meant. I learned all that there, and I'm not ashamed
Right.
to say it. But I've also gone back to them. I think I went to a webinar like earlier this year. Like I still use it as a resource because they
It's a
don't,
great resource. I mean, because there's so many things that are out there, and people don't know that the resources are available.
yeah,
And it's so overwhelming, especially like you said, they got into business because they know how to do a thing and they're
yep,
passionate about the thing that
yep,
they know how to do,
right,
and they really want to figure out how can I move away from the thing that, yeah, it pays me, but I don't, it doesn't fill my cup. How
right,
can I do that here? And then they get here and then they get overwhelmed with all the moving pieces around the business of that thing that
yep,
they want to do as for a passion. And now they know that they have a space that is designed for them. I mean, there's so many resources for women in business. There's so many resources for minority women in business.
yep,
There's so many resources for
veterans.
small business owners, and
Mhm.
people don't know that it's there. And
Yep.
when you find out that it's there, it's like, so our running joke is, at the Women's Business Center is, it's like blood in, blood out. Once you're in, you're in. We don't let you
You're
go.
Oh my gosh. I think I have talked about the IEWBC in so many, like when someone says write an essay about how you started your business, or it's like they're always included because it is, to me, the most important decision I made was to go to the Corona Public Library and attend the ABCs of starting your business with Nicole Kinney.
We
Right?
still have that workshop. But another part of that is the reason why the Women's Business Centers exist is because of NABA. I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of can't have
Yeah.
those questions. You can't
Uh-huh.
have those conversations
Yeah.
without each other, because there
Yeah.
was an organization like NABO that said, no, women need a seat at the table. Not only that, but we're also going to build our own table, and we're
Yep.
going to sit back and forth and go
Yep.
back and forth. And if that's
Yep.
the case, then they need resources.
Yep.
All these places need resources. And so, when people think about the advocacy part of what NABO is, that's what we like to explain to them. Like, the Women's Business Center is a high example of the advocacy work that NABO does. It's
Yeah.
providing that, creating that safe space for women who want to go into business, who are trying to get out of the male dominated communities where they
Sure.
don't feel they feel like their voice is still so small, when they might be with a male counterpart, same, or launching their business the same day, have the same resources, but the female business owner she's gonna shrink herself a little bit more in that space. But when you come to the Women's Business Center, I'm telling you, you gotta say it with your chest, baby. You got a passion. You got something that you're good at. You've been doing this for a couple of years on the side. You
Yeah.
be excited, puff your chest out, be proud of what it is that you're doing, and now let's come up with a strategy to make it where it's, where as big as it can be.
I love that. LaVonne, I don't think we've ever talked about this, but one of my partners, like one of my best partners when I'm working with a client, is the accountant, because the accountant sees
Mm.
all the numbers. They see that there's no money going to marketing or too much money going to marketing. And so those conversations end up being like, where can we cut back? Where should we increase? What's bringing the most bang for our buck? How do we enhance that? And
Mm-hmm.
lastly, how do we enhance our packaging of services and products and pricing to get that best, to align like our most profitable with how we're spending our time?
I mean,
Which,
the numbers are the dollar value to your habits. I mean, you're doing all of this work, you're marketing, you're going to networking events,
yeah,
you're providing services or providing a product. You're doing all of these things for an end result, and the end result is that you're able to keep a roof over your head, keep food on your plate, clothes on your back, be able to enjoy life, go and do stuff, eat, travel, all the things that are a part of life that are all numbers based. They're a
Yeah,
part of the conversation. So
right.
I always laugh when people will come and see me at a workshop or meet with me one on one. Like they always say, "I'm not a numbers person. I don't do accounting." And then I laugh and I go, "If you've been able to maintain a roof over your head, clothes on your back, and food
Love
on your plate, you've been doing it. You just didn't
oh,
realize there's a strategy that you could be using to do it." And they all go, "Oh." I was like,
I
yeah, all
love
we
that.
got to do is just now put it in front of you in the way that you can see it and process it and
Yeah,
understand it and then use it as a tool so you can get
yeah.
what you want.
See, that's already the safe space right there where you already like compliment that actually you are already doing it. And just on that, a very similar thing that I do is, the hashtag flex your influence. The reason I started that was because I would talk to business owners who had been in business for anywhere from 3 to 20 plus years. And they'd be like, I don't have anything to say online. And I would remind them of their that they are a thought leader and that they are the expert, and they would agree with that. And it's like, and you are influential. Maybe your social media numbers aren't what you would want them to be considered influential, but really,
Mm-hmm.
even if you have just 10 people that you influence, you do influence. So that's why this
Right.
show is so important to me, because I want to bring people on that I just admire, that I've worked with. Either you've hired me or I've hired you, or we've done work together somehow. And, how can we just spotlight that? And so this has been so fun. I even learned more about what you do. And I do remember that when we first met, then you were an accountant.
Yeah,
You
I was focusing on the bookkeeping
only
and
doing
accounting
book.
aspect. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
mainly that, and then tax preparation, and like I said, through a series of my own personal development
yeah.
process. Learning different ways of seeing myself, and then being able to see like, oh, this is how this person processes information. Let me talk to
Mhm.
them in that format. Oh, this is how they're feeling. Or let me embrace that so I can help them, transition that or use that. I mean, there's so many times I'm talking to someone and they go, I can't believe I didn't know that. And it's like, well, you didn't come out the womb running, did you? You had to crawl and then walk and then learn to communicate. It's all a process. And so it's
Yeah,
learning to use that skill set to help people, especially in an area which a numbers, scares the hell out of a lot of people. I
yeah,
mean, that's how I feel about marketing. It's like, oh my God, at least for a while ago, I used to be like,
yeah. No,
what you
you're
mean
you're pretty
marketing?
good.
Like,
I did mention that to
I'm
you. That I
getting better. I'm getting
Yeah,
better.
you are getting better, and I'm really proud of that. But okay, just out of and I'm so glad I saw when you transitioned to teaching, because I saw you doing more workshops and people having you speak to do workshops, and so that's another thing LaVonne can do, is she can speak on this subject. But do you still? I don't want to put you on the spot, but kind of. Do you still do books?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
I mean,
good.
it's now, like I said, the I became the full service outsourced
Okay.
in-house accountant for the micro
Okay.
business owners. So now
I,
they don't have to worry about, oh, I have a CPA and they're charging me $450 an hour and I only talk to them once a year. It's like, well, that's probably not the highest best use of your money. Let's figure out how we can find a system that works best for where you are so that you can be empowered. So
yep.
yeah, I do still do full fledged accounting for micro
Okay.
businesses. It's just I also included, like I was saying, that consulting and coaching aspect of it, to where they get full 360 accountability, and account
Nice.
is a capitalized accountability.
So today at the Empower Hour, which is the weekly mastermind through NABO National, the one of the mastermind questions was, is there anything you've been thinking about as far as like repackaging your services or offering a new package? Because it's so important though. Like, someone can go to one of your workshops rather than immediately hire you to do their full accounting if they don't know what that looks like, because that feels overwhelming.
Right. Yeah,
So
it is. It is.
it's
My
nice to
actually,
have that.
yeah, I did. I right before the pandemic, I had just repackaged my services to where it's not just, all right, I'm gonna come in and we're gonna have an annual contract. or I'm going to come in and we're going to do
Right.
your taxes. I
Right.
realized it's a relationship and I need to make sure I can meet people where they are. So
Yes.
I really created a whole new offer ladder
Yeah.
over the last 2 years on how to, one, get people comfortable with it
Yeah.
and understand, really understand what is the purpose of having an accounting part of your advisory board. Like, what does that really mean? It's not just having a CPA who does your taxes, or,
Right.
it's a lot more than that. And so, yeah, I totally revamped my packaging to where you can work with me in, I have the accountability lab, which is like a study hall for small business owners, where, we're trying to figure out, what do we know about your numbers to determine if you should be hiring someone to do your books? Because if we
Wow.
can set the system up, then let's set it up, and then we meet, we have this mastermind type setting twice a month, where now you get to make sure you get the numbers done. Once you realize and you can relate your time to the value of your time, then you can determine, well, if I've been doing this once a month with LaVonne for 3 hours, what could I be doing with those 3 hours? Or I like
Oh,
it and I
there you go.
appreciate it,
You go.
right? So, is it better for me to pay someone for those 3 hours, or is it better for me to still be in it? And so I wanted to create a baseline space for people to be able to engage, ask questions, get the support they need, but more importantly, get the accounting done. It's got to
Yeah.
get done. So now we block out 90 minutes twice a month, and then you can get it done. That's the important part.
Yeah.
Right. And so then we have the ability to do a VIP day, a accountability day, where we're going to actually break your system down. We're going to figure out, are you using QuickBooks? Are you using Wave? Do you understand what you're tracking? Let's get all that situated and going. And then you can do a 6-week or a 90-day program. It's all about getting that foundation laid. And after we do all of that, and we've done one of those or a series of those different things, then we can have a conversation about maintenance. What does it look like to maintain the system now that we got it up? Because the
Yeah.
important part of it is, do the numbers make sense to you? Let's figure
Yeah.
out a way of getting it to where you can feel comfortable about them, and
Yeah.
then feel empowered by them, and then use them as a tool to actually get to where you want your business to be. It could be multiple seven figures, but how many people have stumbled into multiple seven-figure businesses and then stumble right back out of them because
They
now
didn't
you
know
have
what
all
to
this money and you don't know what to
yeah.
do with it?
That's right. Oh gosh. Wow, that's so good, LaVonne. I am so excited for you, and I'm excited. Just yeah, this is all so wonderful. Okay, the last thing is, can you give us a tip? Can you give us small business owners, micro business owners, a tip on those numbers?
My biggest tip is, use an accounting software, and it doesn't have to be QuickBooks. There's so many of them out there, and if it just start there, simplify that process,
Mhm.
and it's the game changer, because accounting is not, it's not fun. It's a lot of, before AI, it was a lot of data entry, so it was a lot of just
Mm,
overwhelm. But you get you a system that gets you your numbers as quickly as possible. Now we're playing the game. Now is chess over checkers. Now we're actually doing some strategy and figuring out what's going on. So the faster you get to utilizing some sort of system, and there are so many of them out there, and there are some of them that are free. Find the one that's best for you, but find you an accounting software that's going to be your game changer. You get that going, boom, you're coasting at that moment.
I love that. I absolutely love that. That's great, great, great advice. Thank you so much, LaVonne, for being here.
Thank you. This is
I
awesome.
yeah, I always have such a good time with you. When I see you and my face lights up, I'm like so happy to see you, because I
I
feel
get
like
so jazzed when I see you too.
I know. And then we're always so busy when we're there, because you're a social butterfly. I'm always
The
moving.
social butterfly.
And so, but I do love that no matter where we are, we always at least take one moment for us to be able to catch up, have some laughs.
Yeah.
And I really, really love that. And I appreciate you as a colleague, as a friend, as a fellow NABO member. And I will be at your NABO event next week.
I'm so excited. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so excited about that. All right, everyone. So this is it from LaVonne and I. This is a reminder to be wildly excited about the possibilities, and we will